Hola, estudiantes. Obviously, I'm not there today. It's Wednesday. Are you happy not to see me and have a break from me? La profesora un poco antipática. So basically, I'm just recording you a video today. Make sure that you filled in your forms. Remember, we did caminar en clase. So you want to just take out this new packet, the blue one I just gave you. So if you have to pause this video at any time to grab your stuff, you can grab it. And I'm just going to go through a few things. So for caminar, we did it in class. We had camine, caminaste, camino. Don't forget your accents. Camine should have one, and camino. Then no more accents. Caminamos, caminasteis, and caminaron. So then for comer, it should have been comí, comiste, comió, comí, comiste, comió, comimos, comieron. So comieron is going to be down here. And then don't forget about comisteis, which is the vosotros form. If you are in Spain and you want to say y'all, you say comisteis, y'all ate. But I say ustedes comieron for y'all ate. And then we have viviste. Don't forget about your, not viste, that's saw, viviste. So vivi, accent, viviste, vivió, accent, vivimos, vivieron. I'm singing for you. Vivieron. And then this should be, remember you take viviste, viviste. And then you just add, that's the to form, and you just add is for the vosotros. So we talked a little bit, we started doing the notes in class. The first category we've already done irregular verbs though. Remember you have like hice, hiciste, hizo for hacer, hicimos. And then you have vi, viste, vio, vimos, vistes, vieron. And then you have tener too, tuve, tuviste, tuvo, tuvimos, tuviste, tuvisteis, tuvieron. So you have seen some irregulars, fui, fuiste, fue. Those are all irregular. So this is not our first category, but it is a category. So we did say that they're never AR verbs. Make sure you have that in your notes. If you didn't have this packet for some reason, it's in the back. I have all the Spanish 2 materials on the heater. It says Spanish 2 under, so just grab one. But basically, there only can be ER, IR verbs, so these I to Y verbs, which are down here. They undergo an I to Y spell change in the third person, singular and plural, and that would be the L, for example, in the ellos form, El, ella, usted, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes forms in the preterite. So some examples of these I to Y verbs are going to be leer, and another one is caer, to fall. Sometimes caer is caer se, though it's reflexive. So you have that say, that me, te, se, nos, os, or se. To believe is creer. Poseer is to possess. Incluir. So if I go in too fast, just pause. And then concluir is to conclude. So they're all, these are all I to Y verbs. Destruir is to destroy. So weir. You see these kind of like patterns, weir. And then construir is to build. And oír, and that does have an accent on it. Usually infinitives don't have accents, but oír does. So those are all your I to Y verbs, and we're going to talk about why they're called I to Y here. So let's just take leer, for example. So actually it starts out conjugated really regular. So what would the leer form for yo be? Look at your posters if you need to. Comí, comiste, comió, comimos, comieron. So it would just be leí, like leí un libro anoche. Tú leíste el periódico ayer. Periódico is the newspaper. But here's the problem. So then if you had this, normally you would have you take off your IR and it would just be this. So that's wrong though. So they're saying that you can't just take off your ER and add IO. You actually have to add a Y. So that's why these are called I to Y. And it only happens in the third person, just like cargar only happens in the first person, jugué, saqué, comencé. The Y only happens in and it's basically because these three vowels, you can't have three vowels in a row with verbs. You just can't. It's just basically like a danger. So it would be leo. And then the same thing down here, normally it would be Leieron. And you see those three vowels here. So we can't have those. So it has to be leyeron. So hopefully you'll remember this through Spanish 4 and know why. So that I changes to Y. But then if you go up here, it's just normal. You do gain a little accent, but don't worry about the accent for now. And then remember, leíste is the to form, and we're just going to add east. So the only time that we really worry about this I to Y is in this third person. And because we don't have those 3 vowels anywhere else. Here's the problem. Do you notice how the L, ella, usted, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes form that there are 3 vowels in a row? Like we said, we have E, I, and O, and we have E, I, and E. In Spanish, 3 vowels in a row is called danger, danger. It's never okay. So we need to make a spelling change. So let's just write spelling change to those 2 forms and get rid of the danger. So we just changed the letter Y, or sorry, the letter I to a Y. And voila, the problem is gone. So there's no, so with L-E-Y-O, there's not 3 vowels in a row. Now we don't need to change any other forms because there's no danger, danger. So unos jóvenes, so just do these. This should be unos jóvenes leyeron revistas. We can't say that 3 vowels. Uno de los jóvenes cayó. So caer is to fall al suelo. La silla cayó. So remember, these are because those 3 vowels are not okay. We can't have that. We have to change the I to a Y. Yo for oír, which is to hear. So this is trying to trick you a little bit. You don't do it in the yo form, so oí would be fine. Y mire, no Y in that one. So it's kind of like mixing in some regular verbs. Nosotros, same thing, no Y because it's concluives, it's the nosotros form. So you don't need the I to Y. So now just translate those to English. So pause this video, do the translation, work with a group if you need to look, if you don't know what revistas are, those are magazines. Periódicos are newspapers. So if you need to look up a word, go ahead. But just translate those, pause this video, and then let's keep going. So now what we want to do is we're going to read the story a little bit in class. And so I would like you to get together in little groups. You can do like groups of 3 would be good. Don't do groups of 2. And basically for homework, you were supposed to look up the story and you were supposed to do basically a close reading. So un cerdo is going to be a pig. Un lobo is going to be a wolf. And try to do like fun voices with these. Los tres cerdos are pigs, so cerditos are little pigs. And then paja is straw. And the material, and then madera is wood. And then ladrillo is how we say brick. So those are 3 words. So you might not know the word like había, and that basically that there was. So that's the imperfect tense. That's the other past tense. It's different than the preterite. Había 3 cerdos y un lobo. Los 3 cerdos leyeron. So you are going to go through. So there was 3 tres cerdos y un lobo. Los 3 cerdos leyeron los 3 cerditos con su mamá y concluyeron que era necesario construir. So what I want you to do is go through and do volleyball. So remember, when you do volleyball, you stop at the period, and then your partner, whoever's next, will read in English, and then basically translate. So había 3 cerdos y un lobo. There were 3 pigs and a wolf. And then they're going to read the next Spanish line. Los 3 cerdos leyeron los 3 cerditos con su mamá y concluyeron que era necesario. This era is it was. So there might be some words that you have to guess a little bit. But what I want you to do is, as you go through, underline words. Help each other try to figure out where things are. Like protegerse is to protect themselves. So just write it down. I should see a lot of annotations, which means just notes on your paper, defining words that you don't know. So if a partner tells you that construir is to construct, then write it down. Construir para protegerse del lobo, from the wolf. Un cerdo construyó. So these are all I to Y verbs. If you need to go back and look up like, oh, what is construir? It's to build. So maybe go through those first before you read the story. Destruir, poseer. You're going to see all of those here. So then the next partner is going to read the next Spanish line. los tres cerdos leyeron los tres cerditos con su mamá y concluyeron que era necesario construir casas para protegerse, to protect themselves. So then the next person, so the third person in the group is going to translate that to English and then read the last line is un cerdo construyó una casa de paja. So then the next person translates that to English. So if you're really stuck though, help each other. Don't let someone just sit there and not know what they're saying. Try to read the whole story, make a lot of notes, try to understand what's happening, and then finish it. De repente is suddenly. So you might have to look up if you didn't get like all the words from your homework reading, you might have to look something up. Es obvio que. It's obvious that. So if you want to put some of this stuff down before you start reading, you can do that. And then the last thing you have to do, and this will be your homework, you can do this together after I went the whole volleyball reading. So don't skip to the questions. Go through and read it together with your group. And then at the end, try to figure out who said these things. So you have lobo, cerdo de paja, the pig that's the paja, the straw, the cerdo de madera, which is the, and you also want to circle the verbs that you heard in the story. Cerdo de madera is the wood pig, and then cerdo de ladrillo is the brick. So you look and you just figure out, like, go back to the story and figure out who said what. So if nosotros leímos los tres cerditos y construimos casas, it might be more than one character too. So just know that. And then down here, you're going to do this practice. So anything you don't finish in class today will be homework. So I think you can get everything done without homework. And that's it. Es todo para hoy. So that's it. You can do it. I know you can. Tú puedes. Adios, chicas. I'll see. This is due next class. So have it done because I'm going to grade it and help each other. Adios.